mind you, on the subject of that, what's probably, when I say with music videos, what's probably the one that really sort of captured your imagination, where you thought, oh, that is very well done.
Damn, I gotta go back a couple times.
Let's see, music videos. I guess the one that I think maybe this is something I've already mentioned in the past, in a past Skull episode, but it was probably the music video to Daft Punk's "One More Time."
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Where it was just like, I didn't know at the time, but it was the first time I've ever seen a full-on animated music video, and little did I know, it was simply a portion of, it was simply like the intro portion of the Interstellar 5555 movie, and it was certainly the thing that introduced me to Daft Punk, and it's introduced me, it's probably my first exposure to techno music in general. I know it's technically called house music, but it's just like my first exposure to the genre of techno in general. And I remember as a kid, because the music video kind of ends on a cliffhanger, so I was always, for years, I was always wondering, whatever happened to those blue people?
Yeah.
And later on, it was.
But thank God for Toonami's Midnight Run.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. I saw it on Toonami as that in music video form. So that was something I always enjoyed, because it came out. Sorry, I was gonna say it came out the right time, where Toonami was out. They had a lot of anime, and here they had. It's technically an anime because it was made by a Japanese animator, or directed by a Japanese animator, and it was just that kind of 90s art style, kind of like a bit. Not shonen, but shoujo, a bit shoujo-esque style, similar to that of Sailor Moon. But it was a very beautiful looking. It was very beautiful looking animation that they used for both the movie and the individual portions of those music videos.
Let's see. For me, okay, way back in the day, it was Tupac's "Do for Love" video. Showing different animated versions of Tupac, which is pretty cool to watch. And for the latter, Gorillaz, when I first saw Clint Eastwood, I'm like, whoa, this is sick. And my personal Gorillaz favorite Gorillaz song, "Tomorrow Comes the Day," and the animation for that was pretty cool. Just mixing the animation with real life. That was just surreal to me. And last but certainly not least was what was it called? I think it was, hold up, let me see. Hell Bent by Kenna. That music video was just very it told an emotional story, and the song itself just lulled me into just seeing what's gonna happen next. So yeah, those are the videos that stuck with me.
I do also want to give a shout out to the music video to Beastie Boys' "Intergalactic."
Yes.
I love it's this one big loving tribute to like tokusatsu action, where you have these three Stooges looking scientists controlling a giant robot and defending the city from a giant Cthulhu looking monster.
Yeah, love that video. I think I was watching MTV when that first came out. I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Was that back when they only played stuff relating to music?
Yeah, back like 1997, I think. I don't remember when that video came out. It was a long time.
Same year that Toonami came out, 97.
One I want to share right now, and this is one I mentioned a few episodes back, I think, because when we talked about what particular music video, particular musicians or groups you got into, but you got into by accident. So, like, for example, you hear Kenny Loggins for the first time because you watched Top Gun, or you got into Huey Lewis in the News because you saw Back to the Future.
Oh.
I mean, who didn't?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One that's kind of an obscure thing, and I mentioned this, didn't really relate to it in any way, but I caught onto this one by accident, was when I heard Shattered Dreams by Johnny Hates Jazz for the very first time. And I'm like, why have I not heard this song before? This is kind of hitting all the right numbers that I like in 80s music. And this one even kind of had a message in it. I mean, I'm hoping you can actually see it from this side, provided it's not blocked again.
Let's see.
All right.
Hoping it's
I
not
can see it.
blocked.
Now you good.
I think wait, hold on. I can advertise.
Ooh, stylish.
Loving the beat.
Same. Not really much of a jazz person, but this is dope.
Yeah.
It's
I
something I
like
can
this.
easily groove to. I feel like I've seen this. I've heard this singer before.
Clark DeLatcher, I believe his name is.
Never heard of him, but I like the tune.
Well, since you mentioned hearing people on accident, dude, when I watched Disney's Tarzan on theaters, all I heard was nothing but Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Yeah, and since then,
Two
he's became my
worlds,
favorite.
one family.
Yep.
Oh, you will be in my heart. That's the one I heard everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, stop making me cry, Phil Collins, about stage. Also, I think a music video that like kind of got my attention, or like I didn't realize it surprised me. Whoever saw the video, the first ever music video by Eminem?
My
Was it
name
the one
is-
like?
Oh yeah. Oh god, that.
Like the visuals of the music video. What surprised me is like that dude's white. Video. I heard it like, oh, this is a good song, and then it's like that dude's white.
Nani?
I was like that when I was hearing.
Really?
I was like that when I was hearing a group called Suicide Boys. I thought they were black, but I was like, when I saw them, I was like, oh snap! And you guys sound awesome.
Like, oh, a bunch of white dudes. This is awesome. But also another music video that I love is the music video for "Breaking the Habit" by Linkin Park.
Oh, I do like.
I love the animation.
Yeah, me too. That was I was kind of like that with their remix of Points of Authority, especially with the whole like robots and gargoyle looking things battling it out.
Yeah. They're
Oh, that is sick. Yeah, and speaking of Linkin Park, on a sad note for me, man, when I heard Chester Bennington passed away, it hurt my heart because because his voice really got me through some stuff that I got through. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, like when I heard about his passing, it really hit me deep because his voice and lyrics really got me through stuff when I was a kid/teenager. I was gonna say that for the end of the year. Yeah, I was gonna say that for the end of the year panel, but like since you mentioned it, like I had to just get it out.
Yeah, it broke my heart when I found out that happened. I'm like, oh God, why? And the manner of his death is just really sad too.
I've had a few friends say similar things.
To be fair, from what I understand, is that he was going through depression so bad that here's the thing. While I could understand some people's perspective where they say, "Oh, you know, he took the coward's way out by taking his own life," the flip side to it is you don't know what was going on inside his head. I mean, on the one hand, I don't agree with, with that he did it, but I could understand why he did it because people forget depression is a real thing, and it's not something you can just shake off. It's one of those things that you really have to learn to teach yourself how to appreciate yourself again. That life is worth living. I mean, I was because whilst I was doing some just reading up a little bit on stuff that David Coburn had done in between his role as Captain Planet and then all the subsequent stuff he had done years after before coming back to the role, and then looking up who was voicing Dr. Blight, and it wasn't the original actress that replaced Meg Ryan in the 90s. It was actually the voice actress that did most of the voices on South Park, who had committed suicide in 1999. And you know, I was reading up about it. Her story is unbelievably tragic because apparently, I think it was the event of her, either her grandmother or her mother, that really started pushing her depression over the edge. And apparently, she was found in her home by her husband after putting a pistol through her head, and
Oh damn.
her husband couldn't stay in the same house for at least a week. He says, "Look, I just can't go there. This." And the thing is, people spoken about her. She said she was like one of the most thoughtful, generous, and giving persons, even to one of her students in voice acting, Gray DeLille. And when it was getting around to, well, who's going to replace her as Daphne on Scooby-Doo, and they said, it's got to be Gray DeLille, because you would expect you to do this because you were her student. And apparently in the first recording, she sounded so much like Mary that it was almost like she had never left, which people were a little bit spooked by. So, and again, you don't really know, because she was, like I say, with her, she was going through depression as well. So you don't really know what was going on in her head, because again, it's not something you can shake off. It's something you have to pull yourself out of day by day. And I know people who went from depression, and they find it unbelievably insulting when people say, "Oh, this is something that'll pass," or "all you need to do is just smile." It's like, it's not as simple as that. You know, it's a real illness. It's not something you can just, snark at. And I don't know.
Yeah, the sad part of it was with Chester's, like, you see videos of him, like, you think you see him happy, but in the end, you never know. It's a scary situation.
Yeah.
That's just, it's a similar thing with Robin Williams. I mean,
Oh man.
Oh.
that's so tragic.
That killed me.
I know.
Yeah, especially as a Disney fan with Genie, that just hurt.
Oh my god, the genie.
I
Yeah.
know. And evidently in the live action version of Aladdin that they're getting, they apparently want Will Smith to be the genie. I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah,
no.
that's
I like Will Smith, but no. Just
you
no.
are not Robin Williams.
I mean, if anything, it'd be nice to have a fresh take on the character of the genie. Maybe go for, let's say, for the sake of discussion, they were to get, say, either David Tennant or Chris Pratt as the genie, just so that, because those are guys that can be funny actors, but they're doing it in their own stance that wouldn't have so much of a association with the characters. So then that when the audience would then go to look at the performance, they're not trying to picture Robin Williams in their mind, because, as you said, he was the genie. And
True.
I suppose it's also in the same context of how people still have trouble dissociating Superman from Christopher Reeve, because he was Superman, you know, or how not too many others could picture Darth Vader not being voiced by James Earl Jones.
That's
Hmm.
true. Especially since he's getting on in years a little bit. It's starting to wear out.
One thing I am impressed by, because they are still going ahead with the live-action Lion King movie. I question why, but then this is Disney and Hollywood and money talks.
Yeah.
They actually are getting him to come back to reprise his role as Mufasa.
Oh,
That's not too bad.
I mean, if they're gonna get so many voice actors, what's the point of even doing a remake?
I know.
Yeah, speaking of remakes, I recently saw the Beauty and the Beast movie.
How bad?
It was
Oh.
it wasn't too bad, but I don't know. Some stuff really didn't like click to me at times. It can like replicate the stuff that was in the original, and I love that movie to death.
They should have at least gotten an actress who can sing to play Belle. Instead of
The thing about it was Emma Watson was born French, I believe, so I believe she like kind of fit the role a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know.
I
That's
did-
cool.
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that tripped me out too.
The more you know.
Hmm. Although I did hear Luke Evans did actually perform well as Gaston.
Yeah, he wasn't too bad.
Yeah, he was alright.
Nobody acts like Gaston.
No one. Come on, follow along, man.